Please listen to this message for you. It's from the groups of Phase 5 Record Show. When someone said we need to spread the news, we decided to share it through a song. Black crime, white crime, stop the dealing, stop the killing. It's time to kick that devil out your mind. Black crime, white crime, stop the dealing, stop the killing. It's time to kick that devil out your mind. Wake up, let's unite. 'Cause our lives matter. Rise up, protect your rights. 'Cause our lives matter. Stand up, let's unite. 'Cause our lives matter. Rise up, protect your rights.
Hey, Steve Jones here with the Wake Up Rise Up Weekly Show, and we want to thank you for joining us tonight. And with me today is Hughie Mac. He's one of the driving people that's working with Doug Payne for Phase 5 Records. And Doug, you also know, is part of our, well, actually, he's the guy that started this whole thing. But Hughie is working with him. We're going to find out to what capacity and what brought Hughie in here and really who Hughie is. So, Hughie, let me turn to you here, and I'm going to change our view to bouncing between the two of us. Hughie, thank you very much for joining us tonight. It's a pleasure.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
I dropped it on you too quicker. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So, how did you meet Doug? What's the whole?
Okay. Doug and I taught before I really got involved in music professionally. Doug and I taught at the same high school, only high school. He was the music teacher, and I was a physical education teacher and coach. And I coached wrestling and football and assisted in track, and that's where I knew Doug originally. And then after I retired, I got involved with music professionally, and Doug, found out about it, and when he got involved with the Wake Up Rise Up, he contacted me about if I wanted to be a part of it, and I said yeah.
Okay. Now, were you involved last year?
What'd you say?
Were you involved last year with Wake Up Rise Up?
No, I was not. No, this is the first year I've been involved with it.
Oh, that's cool. All right. I think you'll find it to be a very interesting experience, being exposed to the many different kinds of music that come at us from across the globe. That was one of my first wows, just so many different voices. So you jumped into music. I know you said you do some performing at local convalescent homes, nursing homes, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I do a lot of senior centers. I do bar restaurants too, and I do private parties. And during the pandemic, I did that stuff virtually.
Yeah. Yeah, that was tough doing work like that.
Right, and it's still, since a lot of my work is at senior centers, some of them are still, not really opening up. They're being very cautious. So I mean, I have some bookings, but it's slow to come back from from after the pandemic, because obviously the senior centers were the most dangerous areas.
Well, they got hit pretty hard. I have a daughter that works at a nursing home, and when she I don't know if it's now, but she showed me what she looked like way back when, and she looked like a spaceman. She wore so many different layers. She had a head to toe Tyvek suit on. She had gloves. She had a face pack. She had goggles. Everything. And they were making sure that they did not pass anything over to these people.
Right.
You consider the people that are in there, their health is very fragile to begin with, and
right.
Like this bug, and this bug is vicious, and it'll take out a whole floor, and I'm not even trying to be facetious. I mean, it's nasty. and I'm going down a bit of a rabbit hole here, but we had one of our volunteers with Rock in the Valley got nailed with it a year and a few months ago, and she still struggles with it. She lost lung capacity. It's not fun, and she's young. You know,
Right. Right.
it doesn't care about age. If it's going to get you, it's going to get you, and that's it. You know.
Right. Right.
Back to this. So you're working with Doug. Are you on one of the stages down in Philly? What's going on with the Rise Up?
That I'm not sure. Like I said, it's the first year I've done this with Doug. He told me I'd be either someplace in Montgomery County or maybe Philadelphia, maybe even up where you are in the Lehigh Valley, which is fine with me too. My wife's from up there.
That's right.
She was from Nazareth.
Nice little town. How long were you? Did you live up here, or did she like move down towards you?
Well, after we got married, she moved down here. You know, but I met her at college, and you know, she was from Nazareth and went to Nazareth High School and all that stuff.
Okay, I just as putting it in perspective, I grew up in Easton.
You grew up in Easton? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm right next door, and
right next door, right?
Kind of, yeah. And if you haven't been back to the area, the road between Easton and Nazareth is like completely built up. So much.
Really?
Oh my God! It used to be a 2-lane road, just with one house sitting over here, and it's the same road that my parents and I and my brother would take every Sunday going to my grandparents' house up in Danielsville, and we went up this road and there was just one house. Okay, so as time goes on, now that where that one house was is a BMW parts center,
right?
Buildings and a Wawa, and all this, and it's like wow, it's really built up.
Well, when she was living there and when she grew up, Nazareth was very rural. I mean, she was right, in farming area and stuff, and of course it's gotten much more crowded, and the prices have gone up. It's not like it was. It's not like it was.
Was the Speedway running when she was up here?
What?
Was the Speedway running when she was up here? That's the Speedway.
Speedway. Oh, that was there. I mean, Mario Andretti was probably the most famous citizen of Nazareth.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I spent a lot of time, but the dirt track, the half-mile dirt track, where I spent a lot of time over there in my youth.
Mm-hmm.
I came home with dirt everywhere. Oh,
right.
Terrible. But the French fries were good. So, I mean, the obvious thing about Wake Up, Rise Up, and it's a peace drive, it's a peace movement, that kind of thing. But for yourself personally, what's it mean to you personally to be involved with?
Well, I taught for over 40 years. I taught and coached for over 40 years in the inner city, and I've personally had kids that I taught and or coached that were lost to violence, mostly gun violence. But I mean, it's touched me personally, and I mean, all you have to do is look at the statistics. We're losing a generation in record numbers, not only to gun violence in the inner city, but also to drugs. There's so much fentanyl and stuff coming in over the border, and that adds to the crime rate and the violence. And it's out of control. We're losing a generation in record numbers.
And in your opinion, what would you attribute that to? I mean, is it not tight enough gun control? Is it too tight? Is it just a general attitude of the way things are? Is it the 60s because we were too promiscuous back then, perhaps, and we just grew from there? What you're often
I don't have all the answers. Obviously, a big part of it is the drugs that are coming in from China and from our southern border. Another thing in the inner cities is Um, well, probably the lack of fathers in a lot of the communities. The rate of children born without a father present around has skyrocketed in the last 30 or 40 years, and it's just a combination of those things. And Also, I mean, we have DAs in some cities that don't prosecute crimes, or at least they don't prosecute what they don't think is, they manipulate things so that, for political reasons. And I mean, obviously, we need better policing. We need more rehabilitation programs and ones that work. I don't know what all the answers are, but all I know is we're losing the battle.
Yeah.
This is just statistically, we have many more. I mean, all you have to do is look at Philadelphia or Chicago. Any weekend, there's killings of our young people.
It's constant, and I didn't mean to get into a political direction and everything. I apologize.
Right.
Because it's the whole situation is very politically charged as well, and I have 13 grandchildren, and I wonder.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
And I often wonder what kind of world am I leaving them? Okay, and I saw a quote one time. It's we're not leaving them the world; we're borrowing it from them. We're borrowing it from our youth, so we have to take care of it. So when we hand it off to them, like these batons here,
Right.
handing them a good world. So
Right.
I wonder, it's so what can we do better with something like this? And we're wondering, it's like I had mentioned during our rather technology imposed break here. If the audience sees a blip right before I start talking, that it's because we lost power again and we had to restart. But anyway, what can we do better? I saw a thing, a quote one time. It's not, what we are leaving for the kids, our generations. It's what
Right.
we're borrowing from them to give to them. So what are we going to do about this? I mean, we've got all this crazy stuff going on, and I mean, sometimes I think it's indigenous to us and all the hate and discontent that goes on. But if you sit back and look at history, it's pretty violent. How far back you go,
Absolutely.
No, I mean, you look at the Dark Ages. You look at everything. You look at the movie. It's pretty watered down. But if you sit back and look at the movie King of Kings or Ten Commandments, or you look at Excalibur and the Knights and all that other kind. I mean, it's just all the time.
History in general really is brutal.
So
has been practically since the beginning of time.
Exactly. So I mean, how are we going to? What we're doing here, we're going to try to set an example. I mean, we're going to use music. Music is a universal language,
right?
And you have an interesting singing that you're doing, okay? Which we're going to talk about, where you store your music, and it's we all have a song we sing too. And it's kind of interesting. No matter how good or bad you are, you still have a song to sing, and it fits into the puzzle. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I don't know if is there any, Mac, is there any really one solution? I mean, if you look back in history, it seems that there isn't. You just got to fix it on the fly as it's going on.
I really don't.
You don't.
I don't know.
It's hard to say. You don't.
It's a hard question. I mean, we're trying different things, and they don't seemingly work. I mean, but they keep trying. They still keep trying.
What I'm trying to get to the point is this, okay? If for 5 minutes or 48 hours, which is what this Wake Up Rise Up is, if for 5 minutes we can get everyone to stop beating the hell out of each other, or for 48 hours get everybody to sing together, maybe for that 48 hours, we're going to save lives in Chicago and Philadelphia, and Ukraine. If we can stop it just for a couple of minutes,
Right.
you know, because I think it's going to go on no matter what, because I think we are just naturally a violent race. But at the same time, we can stop and say, not right now. We're not going to do it. We're going to stop and smell the coffee. Smell the coffee. Yeah. Smell the room.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, people are people, but you're a teacher. You've seen everything. You've seen a lot of people come and go. You're familiar with everything, and I wish it was idyllic. I wish things were as we could paint them and make everything nice and pretty and rose-colored glasses, but it doesn't work that way.
Right.
Yes, we can. But anyway, just the singing that you do, I was going to ask you to do some on the guitar, but you say you weren't quite up for that because you're more into tracks. But
Yeah.
tell us about your singing. What do you sing? You sing Sinatra, and then all the gals go, oh, Frankie.
Yeah, I have a pretty big, wide range of things that I do. I do Sinatra. I do Elvis. I do Dean Martin, Bing Crosby, Buddy Holly, Ricky Nelson, some modern country, like big bands. I have, a pretty wide range of types of programs that I do. I do, a traditional Irish show on St. Paddy's Day, and other times I have a thing. The set thing for the senior centers is generally I balance it between Sinatra, Elvis, Ricky Nelson, Dean Martin, just about everybody from the 50s and 60s.
I got to tell you, I love that music. It's great.
Now, and go ahead. And I, I don't usually, unless I'm doing a country show, I don't usually do straight country in the senior center thing. Sometimes the senior centers have country show, and I'll do that too.
Yeah, okay. The question I had kind of went out and came around. Have you seen the advertisements for the new Elvis movie coming up?
No, I haven't. I didn't know there's an Elvis movie coming out. No, I didn't know that.
Biography? Okay.
Huh?
It's about time they do a biography on Elvis.
Okay.
It looks pretty good. And it appears to feature more the relationship, and I'm not sure until I actually see it, but it appears to feature the relationship between the Colonel and Elvis.
Right. That would be interesting.
Well, you know who plays the Colonel?
Huh?
You know who plays the Colonel? Tom.
Well, Parker.
Yeah, Colonel Parker. You know who plays him?
I still can't understand
who the actor is that plays the.
Oh no, who's it going to be? Who's it going to be?
Tom Hanks.
Oh my gosh! Okay, that will be interesting.
I looked at these previews, and I had watched it several times before. I could recognize the voice, but I could not recognize him. Now, either he put on a gang of weight to play the Colonel, or they're CGIing, making him, but he's gigantic. I mean, he's really. Oh. I didn't know Colonel Tom Parker was heavy, but just looking at him, he's like, whew, he's rocking.
Huh. I don't know this for a fact. I heard this. Maybe you'd know it. I heard that Colonel Tom Parker really wasn't legally in this country or whatever. And the reason Elvis never did any shows outside this country is because Tom Parker was afraid if he left it, he wouldn't be able to get back in. I don't know whether that's true or not. Do you know that any of the, I heard that story from some other people in the music thing. I don't know whether it's true. Do you know anything about that?
Only thing I know is that something of what you're saying is true. He could not leave the country for fear of not being able to get back.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And
yeah, there's something there. I don't know what. I'm gonna have to find out. I would like to know. And I think this.
Yeah, that was an interesting part. And musically, musically, you bring up Tom Hanks. His father was the lead singer of the Diamonds, and he was in the Four Preps.
No kidding. I knew that. Wow.
Little bit of trivia there. A little bit of 50s trivia. I forget the gentleman's name. If you Google it, I'm sure you could find out. But he was in both groups. He was the lead singer of the Diamonds, and he was in the Four Preps. I've
always liked Tom Hanks. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, when I first saw his acting, I'm like,
it wasn't Hanks. The father's name wasn't Hanks.
Okay.
But but his actual father, and I can picture him because I saw him on one of these, oldies shows, and Pat Boone introduced him, and but
I'd love to find that out. I'm gonna have to check on that too. So, well, anyway, you said you post some of your music. It's on Pandora and Spotify.
Pandora and Spotify, yeah.
Yeah, well, find it up there.
What?
How do we find it?
Okay, you type in Hughie Mac, Hughie, and then Mac in the second name. A lot of people spell Huey Huey. That's not the way I do it. I do it the Irish or British way, Hughie.
Okay.
And then second name Mac, Mac.
Okay. And then they'll fall on top of your music on both Pandora and Spotify, and they can enjoy your rather wide repertoire of different stuff to tracks.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll enjoy that. So, well, thank you so much for joining us today on Wake Up, Rise Up, the weekly show. And look forward to seeing you with the main concert coming up in September 21st. And I do recall Doug saying that he was probably going to be you were probably going to be coming on the Rock in the Valley stage. So I'll be looking forward to working with you on that. We are firming up some stuff up here right now, and we're going to be rocking and rolling pretty soon. So it's going to be a huge event. So God help me the day we decide to go live with the whole thing.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Okay. This is Steve Jones with Wake Up, Rise Up, the weekly show, coming to your living room every week until September 21st, when we go live with the big event. Thank you for joining us.
Please listen to this message for you. It's from the groups of Phase 5 Record Show. When someone said we need to spread the news, we decided to share it through a song. Black crime, white crime, stop the dealing, stop the killing. It's time to kick that devil out your mind. Black crime, white crime, stop the dealing, stop the killing. It's time to kick the devil out your mind. Let's unite. Our lives matter. Rise up, terrorize. Our lives matter. Stand up, let's unite. Our lives matter. Rise
preaching before leaving earth. Open up that book, it's all in the word.
Second Chronicles chapter 7, verse 14. If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray, and seek my face, and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven, and will forgive their sins, and will heal their land.